and welcome to episode 18 of the Apocalyptic Knitter podcast. I know it's been a while. I've not been very well for a few weeks. All fine now. So I just had to look after myself for a bit and take a few things off the plate. But no, feeling a lot better and everything is fine. So thank you for bearing with me. I will try and get back to doing one a week or one a fortnight. Anyway, so welcome to any new viewers, because I've had a couple new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. I'm Naomi and I come to you from Leeds in Yorkshire, where I live with my husband, my young son and our cat. I am Naomi Knits on Instagram and Big Bird with a double G on Ravelry. So that's my socials. This is a knitting and I've got a bit of crochet to show you today, podcast where I just kind of fill you in on what I've been up to, what patterns I've been using, what I've got planning, what I've finished, what I've cast on, and if I have any budgeting money tips at the end. I like to pay it forward, so anything I can help. So there we go, let's crack on. While I was away, there has been a lot of finished objects which I have kind of forwarded on to the recipient, so I've not got them here to show you, but they are on my Ravelry page and they are on my Instagram page. So I think it's been about a month, maybe 5 weeks, 6 weeks since I've podcast. So today is the 15th of June, Saturday morning, very miserable outside. Doing very well today, am I? Concentrating. Right, so the last time I podcast, I was working on my 24 birds shawl make along, and it turned out beautifully. Was really happy with it, blocked it absolutely fine. The only thing is it was smaller than I can have a use for, if you know what I mean. So I put a post up on Instagram with some pictures. I knew that I wasn't going to wear it as a shawl, but I thought, oh, it might make a nice like lap blanket or something to kind of put over the, something pretty to kind of lay over the sofa. But it wasn't quite, and obviously I thought I put a lot of time and effort and wool into that. I didn't want to just kind of make something and not use it, so I've gifted it on to my cousin, who I know will really, really love it. I know she does like yoga, so she can kind of use it as like a yoga rug or meditation kind of, say mat, not a mat, but like a blanket there. I also did the side hustle cuffs for her 2 kids and a husband. I can't relay what a good knit they are, because you can just use whatever colours that you want. You can use either DK or I did 4-ply held double, and you can normally just use one main colour and then like a contrast for like the V shape. But on one of the pairs, I ran out of one of the main colours, so I just split it into 2. So I did one main colour, did the contrast V shape, and then did the others, and so you can play around with it. I don't have the designer's name at the top of my head, sorry, still got a bit of rain fog in there. I will put it in the notes, but it's the side hustle cuffs. It's a paid for pattern, I believe, but I've now made 4 pairs of them, so they are really, really handy. And especially in the winter, I use mine low. I use them in the office to cover my hands because the office is just so cold, so it means I can still type. I also made a baby hat for a girl at work who's had a baby, and the baby is absolutely gorgeous. She's about 3 months old now, and I've got somewhere the wool that I used, so I'm not going to show you because just set a picture. So I use this, which is what are we? Juniper Moon Farm Findley DK, and it's like a really nice pink. So it's quite like a dusky. Kind of reminds me a bit like Laura Ashley, don't ask me why. And so I did get the words out, it's a tin can knits hat, and it was is it the Barley hat? Where it's like a stockinette, and then it's got like a panel of garter stitch. Now I misread the pattern and did a panel of reverse stocking stitch, and then it's only when I got to the ground that I realised I'd done it wrong. But it doesn't affect the pattern, she still looks adorable. So yes, so this was I had 2 50-gram balls, and as you can see, I only used about 40 grams. So I've got that left. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I just realised one of the items that I need to talk about isn't here. Bear me 1 sec. I'm back. Sorry. Another finish item that I've yet to gift on is this. I think I might need to just block or the neckband, just because it's garter. It's just rolling in, so I don't know whether to block it or just put a couple of stitches in the corner just to kind of like bring it in. Or I'm thinking, oh, it doesn't matter. What's the baby I'll be wearing it. So this, it's just got 2 little buttons on here. Very cute. So this is the pattern is baby t-shirt vest, and the designer is Samantha Lamb, and it's quite an older pattern, as in I knit this for my little boy, and he's 13 now, so I knit it for when he was a baby. So that the yarn that I've it's cute, isn't it? And it's just got some garter stitch edge in there. It's a free pattern as well, and I just think it's a good size because with babies, like with hats, the heads just grow so much so quickly, but like with a vest, they're going to get a bit more wear out of it, really, aren't they? So the pattern calls for DK on 4.5mm needles. Now the wool that I had in mind was this one, and it's 4-ply. So this is Black Swan 4-ply, and it looks woolly. It feels quite woolly, but it is very, very soft. So I didn't quite have as much of the grey as I hoped, and I'm going to let's weigh how much it used. So there's a method in my madness. There's my scales here, because I wanted to see if I could make my friend Rachel. So that's 52 grams. Okay, I wanted to see if, you know, the Juniper Moon, because that is DK, I wanted to see if I could make one of these for a matching. So we'll see. I might be able to. So I need to get this over to the recipient. That's another work baby. And the only other finished objects that I did was those pairs of socks. I call them my zombie socks. So that was a sock blank in the Dracula colourway by Lockwood Fibre, and it kind of gradiated from black through to grey through to red, like vampire Dracula. Love it. I tell a lie, it was not Lockwood Fibre, it was Easy Knits. Sorry. I did get another sock blank, another red and black sock blank from Lockwood Fibre, that's why I was mixing it up. Anyway, so I did the two pairs of socks. I did one in the blueberry waffle pattern, and then I just did some basic anklet socks for the daughter, so mum and daughter can have them. So that is where I got up to with my FOs, and I've casted a couple of new things on. Should I go through whips first? I'll go through whips first. These stalled a bit purely because I used them for my commuting knitting, and then I wasn't in for a little bit. So I finished one pair of socks, well, one of the socks, and I'm on with the second. Come a bit closer. So these are on, I think, 2.5mm needles, and I just did a very basic toe. I start toe up, so I just do the figure of 8 cast on, and then decrease it up, increase at each end every second row, and then I do a fish lips kiss heel. And then these are for my mother-in-law. I don't think she likes them super long. And I just do about 12 rows of 2x2 rib. And the yarn, self-striping yarn, is by Sable Yarns, and it's called Purple Rain. So it's like a really lovely lilac, and then the other colours just got little flecks in, little speckles. So there, I never get a second sock syndrome. When I'm on the second sock, it feels like it knits faster for me, because I know, oh, it's nearly finished and it's going to be done, and I can start something new. I don't know. I was hoping to get these done because I'm seeing my mother-in-law this weekend, but I'm not going to get that done in like 24 hours, really. Because I'm focusing on another one to try and finish, another project that I'm trying to finish, which I'll come on to in a little bit. Another item that I've been working on is my Quadrophenia blanket by Bakery Bears, Kay Jones, and I'm on the second quadrant. So I'm doing 20g minis, and I think the pattern calls for doing about 3 or 4, and I'm doing 7, and I've just started at the top, colour number 6. And I said these are a mixture of Spectrum Fibre, Advent, that's another Spectrum Fibre, but then these are some other pinky ones that I got. I wanted to use up my Spectrum Fibre Advent but I only got like a 12-day 20 grams, and I had loads of other minis, so I put them on. Can't think what needle size this is. I think it's about 3.5. I'll have to measure it and see. But it is a pay for pattern, so I don't want to give too much away. So what I'm going to do is I want to focus, like the second half of the year, I really want to push on with my blanket knitting, and I've got about 3 or 4 different blankets on the go. I figured because this is in pieces, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's almost at the widest part. I think I can get away with taking this on the train in knitting. So once I've finished, I've got this pair of socks that I'm on and another pair to do, and then I'm not going to cast on any other socks for a little while. I'm going to use this. I'm going to work on this. So that's that. I don't know if I spoke about this last time. This is my Gansey sweater, which I feel like I'm speeding through this podcast, sorry. I met my husband who's wanting to come down and have his breakfast and everything. I was like, I'm just going to quickly do a podcast. He goes, how long will you be? So, about half an hour. Okay, I'll wait. So this is, I think last time I spoke to you, I'd just cast it on. And I had a rigmarole with the cast on. And I'm afraid to tell you, I'm going to rip this out. It's about 3 hours worth of work, so it's not the end of the world. But if I'm going to put the amount of time in, it's going to be right. Width-wise, it fits me fine. But when I looked at the cast-on edging, because this is the, I think it's called the Shetland Isle cast-on, like a knotted cast-on, and you kind of hold like a triple strand. So it's double on one and single on the other, and you kind of hold it a bit like a long tail cast on, but then you wrap it around your thumb and then you knot it. And I just kind of felt like that bit was different, and then this bit was just, it was just all lumpy and like a picot edging. And even if it was just picot edging all the way, including that bit, I probably would have kept it. But I've been messaging on Instagram Lalba, who's also knitting a couple of Ganseys, and she's kind of given me a video of how she does hers. So thank you ever so much for that if you're listening. So I think I thought I wanted it to be right. She also mentioned, so traditionally you're meant to do like, I think it's something like 10 or 20 garter stitch ridges before you do the rib. Now I read somewhere, or 20 rows or something. Now I read somewhere on my pattern 6. And then when I've gone back to it, after I've done the rib, I don't know where I read that 6 from, because it doesn't say 6. So I think the pattern that she's given is it's not even really a pattern, it's just like advice, like a bit of a guide sheet really. This is from Frangipani, and so yeah. So I thought, come on, it's not as if I've done half the back and spent like weeks and weeks on it. I haven't. I'm learning so much on the way, and if I'm gonna be, this is gonna be a garment that's gonna last me like 30-40 years, and I don't want to be looking at the cast on edge of it and thinking you could have done better. So I'm gonna rip this out, but before I do, I want to make a note of how many that I cast on. Just write some notes down, and just that first part of it, just write on a piece of paper somewhere how many rows of garter I'm doing, how many rows of rib, and then once you've done that, it's quite, I think it's massive. So you do like the first up to like bust level or this yoke level. It is just plain stockinette. So I thought it'll probably take me about 4 hours to do that initial bit, and then we've got some nice cinnamon knitting then, haven't we? I also think once I do this and do the rib, I think because I want to knit it in the round, so I might put this on a stitch holder, knit the other one and join it together, and then either have it where the two welts form like a V shape on the side, but then I don't know if that would weather or fray easily, I don't know. So anyway, that is that. So I'm going to put that away, and when I'm mentally ready I will rip it out. So there we go. Because I'm also I'm in discussions with a guy at work who wants me to make him one as well. Obviously he's going to commission, because it is quite a big commitment. And the wool that I wanted to get it from is Frangipani, because she's really well recommended when you look online, but she doesn't have that social media presence. But I found here, and there's a telephone number and an email address. So there we go. Right, cast-ons. This probably isn't going to be the best description to show you. Here's my mega cake. When it first came, it was a massive 500 gram already wound up cake of yarn, and it's from Pufflower Crochet on Instagram. And look, how big is that so far? This has just come from one cake. So this is a baby blanket that I'm making, and the great thing about these cakes is, because I thought that you don't need to change the colour is already like tied together, so you can just every so often you just feel like the little knot, and it's only a subtle knot, you don't feel it in here, but it means like no ends to weave in. Well, I'll come back to that in a sec. And I know she's not sponsored by them, but I found out through Julia at Happy Knitting Podcast, because she had one. I thought, oh, that's nice. And when you work from the inside of the cake, as your rounds get bigger and bigger, you'd have thought that the stripes would have got smaller, but that's it's like carefully measured out, so the yardage of that colour gets longer and longer, so when you're using it all up, the stripes still remain quite equal. For how clever is that? So this is for Natalina, my friend who's expecting a baby girl in August, I think. But we're going over to Southport this weekend, and I've got the opportunity to drop this off. So I'm literally I've just got a teeny little bit of yellow, and then it's the pink to do. So if I can get that done this weekend, it'll just save me posting, won't it, really? And that is a really decent size for a baby, really, isn't it? Because it's perfect for the cot, and I think, you know, toddlers, they like to cozy on the couch on that as well. There was only one where I broke it. What I do when I'm pulling from the middle, I was getting fed up of constantly doing that all the time, so I'd like pinch a little bit to bring out loads of it and do like a purposeful little yarn bath, and then I'd get into a tangle and a knot and I pulled it a bit tight. So it was properly self-inflicted, but no, that's fine. And it's really quite nice and soft. It's an acrylic, so I'm a big believer in giving new mums baby blankets that are machine washable, because you do not have time to hand wash a baby blanket if they're just gonna puke on it, really. So that is that. Yeah, just doing I'm using a 4mm hook, 4mm crochet hook, and just a bog standard granny square on that one. And then the last thing that I casted on, I cast one of these on last year for, we've got some family in Devon, and it was, I made some for Jenny, who is like the mum. So this is Craig's auntie. Yeah, I think Craig's auntie. And yeah, so and her daughter said, "Oh, that's nice. You can make me one if you like." So okay. So this is the Litmus Cowl by Jude Harper, and it's curling up on me. And I'm doing very similar for the mum, because I had some of this lovely grey, and then loads of different pink scraps. So I think this bottom one here is Bartat Yarns. I think it's called Winter Roses. That's a very deep stash. I think I might have had that coming on 10 years, I think. This silver, it's very slippy. I think it's got a yak in it. This was Flaming Rocks or Flamingo Rocks, which is a lovely pinky colour. And I've just started, I think that was, I did some Gemini gradient socks, where it kind of went from like a teal and merged into a pink. So I've got those left. And it's living in my Lolbur bag, going strong, and I've just got loads of, oh God, losing them all. Loads of little bits of the pinks in there. So I thought I just want to kind of, to use up loads of it. I just got loads of part skeins and it's done me head in. And I think I could possibly maybe put it into a smaller bag. This could also be a commuting knitting. So that is all my knitting at the moment. I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the different projects I've got. Mainly when I started in like the new year in January, I was like, yeah, I've got like a couple of half finished blankets. I'm gonna get at least 1 or 2 of these bigger blankets finished by the end of the year. And here we are halfway through, and I've not. I just keep taking on new things. So I want to find a way. I thought if I could do like a quadrophenia one on the train, then that'll get done every day, and then that'll just kind of come through. And then I think what I may do is I may have like a designated like 2 evenings a week to work on a blanket, and 2 evenings a week to work on the ganzies or something like that. Do you ever get that? Do you ever feel like sometimes all you're just doing is a row on one thing and another row on the other, and you're just getting nowhere? So there we go. Anyway, I'm hoping that the weather picks up and we just get a little bit of sunshine soon, because we've had all this rain and it's it's been great for the garden. My weeds love it. Just weeding all the time, absolutely weeding all the time, and you turn your back and the lawn's grown again. Anyway, but I need to. I've been doing an awful lot more walking because of my knee injury. I've been going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Well, I want to do 3 times a week, but I've definitely been going at least once a week. I'm getting more into a rhythm of it. Been doing a lot of walking. I've joined a community group of litter picking, and with my ADHD brain, I get bored if I'm just doing the same walks again, and this feels like it's my own little self-target, if you know what I mean, where you're that busy doing your thing, think, right, I'll fill up this bag, and like you fill it up, and then all of a sudden I've been doing it for 3 hours. I don't know where the time's gone. It's not a massive thing on step count, but my hips and my back are aching as if I know that I've done some exercise, and I think it's the constant holding yourself in a bent position and almost like that kind of up down constant like semi squats, which is really good exercise for my knee. Don't feel like it at the time, but yeah, I go see the consultant in a couple of weeks. I had some notes back from the MRI from the physio, and they don't think it's a tear. I think it is, because it's also gone another 3 times in the last 2 weeks. I think there's something there that's catching and making it lock. But I'll wait to see what I have the proper conversation with the consultant about, and we'll see how that is. But there we go. Any money things? What money things have I got to talk about? Oh, we've got rid of the spare car that we're using. A spare car, it's come to the end of its natural life, so that got scrapped. Rather than getting it like repaired and then not using it much, and then you're paying MOT and insurance and all that, we just thought we can get by on one car. It'll mean me walking more, which is good. And yeah, the last thing, when I switched it on, it said engine failure, so I thought, yeah. So that'll mean reduced bills, and we also did a bit of a household recce on what we're paying out, which I do recommend. Although it feels quite disheartening, it gives you the opportunity to say, well, I don't use that anymore, why am I still paying for it and all that. One of the big things that we did was we reduced our Sky TV package, and I think we reduced it by about £45 a month, and that's, you know, 500 quid a year. That's a lot. And what it meant was, when we rang up, they obviously put you through to like their loyalty team, their retention team, and so we didn't really lose anything. There was just a couple of things that we didn't use anymore, but it still means that we get to keep our view. We get 2 free view tickets a month, and I say we're just a family of 3, so like all 3 of us can go to the cinema for like £8, but that's all right. So yeah, so I'm thinking that will go to help us when we remortgage in, well, anytime in the next 6 months really. So yeah, sometimes when you look at the extra amount that you've got to pay, it can be quite overwhelming. But have a look at your direct debits, because sometimes that odd £10 and £20, and oh well, do I need that? I can, you know, do I need to get that bus journey? You know, if it's a mile, can I walk it? It's all those little bits that all of a sudden, if you're then saving £80 a month. So yeah, have a what I call a financial spring clean once in a while. It does do you good, and you feel a bit more in control and everything. I've also been making little snowflake payments on my credit card instead of just paying the minimum amount. I've not got a huge amount on there, and it is still interest free, but I'm aware that is coming off in a few months, so I will be getting that cleared, don't worry. But these snowflake payments, somebody that I follow, I think it's called Clearing My Debt on Instagram, she says every Sunday in your current account, whatever denomination that you've got, say if you've got, like, I don't know, £118.60 left in your current account, that £8.60 she's going to take off and make a payment. So I thought, oh, I like that idea, because sometimes it's just like an extra couple of quid, but then, as I say, over the course of a month, if you're doing that weekly, course of the month, it's an extra, but maybe up to 30 quid without you realising. And I'm all about these little subtle things without you realising. Anyway, that is it from me. I hope you are keeping well. I hope you've got some exciting knitting plans. I'm hoping to have another couple of cast-ons the next time I speak to you, but I've got to finish these things first. And I will not leave it as long next time. I will hopefully speak to you in 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, take care. Bye.